Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
What's up, everybody? We are the Dagon Dogs, and this is Dark Souls 3. I'm Ariel, and welcome to the inaugural episode of me actually recording my face on videos. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be awkward. You're gonna see me drink, and you're just gonna see me blather on at length about nothing. So have fun! Let's actually make our character here. I already actually created an appearance for our character. Let's go ahead and load one of my favorites. Yeah. I made Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road, but we're gonna go ahead and use this one. And I'm gonna call her Bellatrix. We are playing on my PC, so I get to type this in, if I can find my keyboard under all this shit. Bellatrix. Bellatrix. We'll say Dom Hall. Dom Hall. Yeah, that works. Like Dom Gleason, but, you know, not quite, because there's not enough space for the characters. And today, I'm gonna give her the life ring because, you know, let's be honest here. If you haven't seen Dark Souls 3, this is a brand new game, just came out at the time of playing this. The gifts that they give you as your starting class, if you're familiar at all with the Souls series, you always get a gift you can start off with. I've looked through these, and most of these aren't of much use, other than like a one-time use sort of thing. Here's the fire bombs, hidden blessing, healing items, basically. But this is kind of like my first actual playthrough of this game. I haven't played through this at all yet, so, you know, I figured that it's probably just good to get a ring just right out of the gate, so we're gonna go with that. And let's go through these classes real quick, although I'm pretty sure I know what I'm gonna choose. The Knight, an obscure knight of poor renown who collapsed roaming the land, sturdy owing to high vitality and stout armor. Mercenary and veteran of the battlefield, high dexterity allows for masterful wielding of dual scimitars. That sounds pretty fun. Warrior, descendant of northern warriors famed for their brawn, utilizes high strength to wield the heavy battle axe. Now, this is kind of like the first time in the game series that they've actually put like the kind of the focus of the character into the description itself, so that's pretty cool. The Herald, this is like the first time I think they've included a lancing type at the start. Former herald who journeyed to finish a quest undertaken, wields a sturdy spear and employs a gentle restorative miracle. It's not that special, because you can get that right away anyways. Thief, a common thief and pitiful deserter, wields a dagger intended for backstabs alongside a military-issue bow. Assassin, an assassin who stalks their prey from the shadows, favors sorceries in addition to thrusting swords. That's pretty cool. Sorcerer, a loner who left formal academia to pursue further research, commands soul sorceries and using high intelligence. Pyromancer, from remote region who manipulates flame, also an adept close combat warrior who wields a hand axe. Cleric, traveling cleric who collapsed from exhaustion, channels high faith to cast many and varied miracles. And then the deprived, naked and of unknown origin, either of unfathomable fool of life, an unfathomable fool in life, or was stripped of possessions upon burial. So, I have already played a little bit of this game just to kind of get a handle on the mechanics of it and kind of see how similar it is to Dark Souls 1 versus Dark Souls 2, see what they've changed and kind of understand, you know, the differences that they've made in this whole thing and kind of figure out what class I actually want to start with. And I already started with this kind of my character's features. I already started one as a warrior using the hand axe, and I tend to like using kind of the blunt, heavy weapons in these sort of fantasy games, but I think we'll go with this one instead, because I'll be honest, this is probably the best looking that your starting armor has ever looked in any of the Dark Souls games. Even Demon Souls, like you could get the fluted armor eventually, which is featured on the front of that game cover, but it takes a while to get there. So I think that just for the sake of how cool this armor looks, I'm going to have to start with the Knight. And I always, well, not always, but I typically use a character that has kind of heavy armor tendencies and a focus on physical weapons. Low faith, low luck, low intelligence. That's fine for this playthrough, I think. And yeah, let's make my character a little bit older. I like the fact that they've added this whole age feature to it because I don't know. I think it's something interesting and unique. Here, let's see what she looks like young. She looks okay. I gave her an older voice because I think the sounds are pretty brutal. So let's go ahead and finalize this. Let's get started with Bellatrix. Ah, man. I'm excited. Just dust myself off here. Ha 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 ha. Is this exciting for you, seeing my mug on this thing? I hope it is. Everybody keeps telling me, like, no, you gotta add a face to the video. That's how you'll get views. I don't really care about views, but okay. It's something else to get good at, I guess. Thought that was like a samurai swing through there. I guess I should probably... Despite wearing heavier armor, still moves relatively quickly. And I'll be honest here, I certainly did not expect when this game came out that my video card would be able to handle it as well as it does. From Software, I think, has over time gotten a little bit better with their development style and has been able to finally kind of get a grasp on PC mechanics. Because the first Dark Souls, when that came out, it came out on consoles first, and then it came out on PC a lot later with the DLC packaged in. But it had a lot of issues, and they weren't resolved by the developer or by the publisher at all, really. It wasn't until a loyal fan of the series decided to make a patch for it, the DS fix. It kind of broke a few things for a lot of people while it was still on Games for Windows Live, but in a lot of respects, it still works well to this day. I'm glad that somebody put in the time and effort that the developer wasn't willing to do, and it fixed a lot of things, but it definitely showed how From Software was unfamiliar with kind of PC development. Let's go this way first before we go down there. So as times progressed, when Dark Souls 2 came out, I got it on the PS3, and the frame rate was pretty chuggy, and the load times were abysmal, which really sucked because that game expected you to kind of teleport everywhere using bonfires, and it was not a great experience in terms of the series. And then, much like the first game, the PC version of that game came out later, and it was a big improvement, both graphically and load time wise. It was almost instantaneous. So it showed that From Software was kind of getting a handle on things, but there were still some significant bugs in the gameplay of that was just kind of, I don't know. There were a few bugs, like your weapon durability would drastically decrease for no apparent reason until people finally figured out that basically as you were hitting things, like that dude's doing to me, as you were hitting things, you would be chipping away at the durability of your weapon, and if there was like a frame rate stutter, it would basically count that for like 20 hits. So certain things like that would pop up, and From Software has, to my knowledge, has not fixed those. I believe another DS fix was sent out. Let's go ahead and go up against this dude, see how we do. As I said, I have played a little bit of this so far. I basically have played up to where the Giant Bomb guys played in their stream. Ugh. Hate that he moves away like that when you finally break his poise. Woohoo. So, in my time playing this game, I've learned a couple things important about the gameplay, in difference to how Dark Souls 1 and 2 behave, and what you're expected to do as you're playing this. I have found that while Dark Souls 1 was definitely a game more about kind of sword and shield blocking in one hand or parrying, which is definitely my favorite way to play that game, was with parries. Dark Souls 2 kind of had this new focus on like fighting with two weapons at the same time. This one, I feel, is more focused on fighting with just one weapon in two hands so far, because there's a certain delay on the parrying, especially with shields. Like, I tried parrying, and I can't for the life of me figure it out, the proper timing for it. So far, I've had a lot better luck just trying to dodge roll my way through situations. There's like some sort of delay with parrying shields, especially, that is just... In Dark Souls 1, it was like almost instantaneous in terms of how quickly you could parry things with any shield. And then Dark Souls 2, they added a slight delay to using the shields, and they kind of wanted you to use the offhand weapons to parry more. which was fine. It made sense because that's kind of it gave those smaller parrying daggers or rapiers, those types of weapons, a new purpose, more or less, when they didn't really have too much of one in the first game, because parrying with the shield was just fine. So being able to just block and then deflect was perfectly acceptable. But right now, I can show you, the character takes like a tiny little step, and it doesn't seem like it would make that big a difference, but in the world of Dark Souls, that's a significant chunk of time for you to be taking to parry. Excuse me. And I'm not even sure like what the proper timing of it is yet. I've more or less given up on it for the time being, certainly with shields, because it hasn't worked out. I found a weapon that I could parry with relatively early in the game, but that's also not an ideal situation either. So as I said, I've played up to... I watched the Giant Bomb stream, and I played up to where they were in that. But I have not beaten the boss in that section yet, so I figured I really wanted to play this game like for the first time recording myself. Whoops. Should lock onto this dude already. I wanted to kind of do a sort of thing, like a lot of the games I've done as videos for YouTube and DagonDogs.com is to like games that I've already played, especially Dark Souls 1. I've played that game front to back well over 8 times. I think I'm probably on my 10th time going through that game. So, you know, I don't really know this one as well because I have just barely touched it so far, and I wanted to kind of record for my own posterity's sake, kind of the experience as it unfolds for the first time, because it's just, I don't know, I'm excited. It's a Dark Souls game. If you know me at all, you know that I love me some Dark Souls. Even Dark Souls 2, which I kind of found to be a big disappointment, was still an overall satisfying experience. It was disappointing in a lot of regards, and I mainly had a problem with the level design, the lack of creative design that they had previously put into their games. But it was still a Dark Souls game with solid gameplay and everything. And so far, like I was kind of holding off on being interested in Dark Souls 3. I kind of ignored it for the most part. Like 50% of ignoring it was because I just didn't want to see any surprises prematurely. But then the other 50% was, I'll worry about it when it comes out. And then I watched the Giant Bomb guys play it, and I saw that they had kind of kept a lot of the things that I liked from Dark Souls 2, and I was impressed with the kind of level design already. Like, look at this. Like, isn't that a screenshot if you've ever seen one? Like, I'm going to do one right now. It's great. I love it. Already with some Gothic architecture in the background. You're at a cliffside. There's a mountain range out in the distance. It's cool. It's a cool looking scenario already. So, you know, here's hoping that it keeps going like this to the rest of the game, because I'm excited. I really am. Alright. So, if you've watched anybody else play this game, you know what happens after I do this. Get a few free hits in here. Oh, I definitely like having heavy armor on right now. Nope. Also, a new thing that they kind of did to the mechanics is when you get knocked down, there's no more invincibility frames during that time. You have to get yourself up in an appropriate length of time. I'm digging the night so far. I started out with, what was it? I started out with the Lancer type, Let's heal up here real quick. This is an interesting fight because it's difficult to tell where the safe zone is on this shit. Whoa! Just out of range there. Ah, shit. Alright, alright, alright. Let's get full health here so we can afford to take a couple more hits. Ah. Woo. Oh, man. I have not fought this guy that many times, but he has proven to kill me a couple times so far. We're gonna try and get one more. Yeah! Alright. One time. Air of Fire destroyed. What does that even mean? I still would prefer you defeated, but, you know. Wishful thinking. Whew!